At Healthcare Partners Medical Group, our mission is to provide the highest quality of healthcare to each and every patient. With 5 locations in Pahrump, we are local doctors you know and trust. We want to thank you for choosing us. Quality care starts here.
Pahrump Nugget is giving away a laptop every day in the month of July at 8 p.m. Earn 3 times the entries on Sundays. Ask about our bingo specials, lower buy-ins, higher payouts, and free gifts. Where their fun never stops, the Pahrump Nugget Hotel and Casino.
Recently, a baby was left in a car at the community pool while under the care of a babysitter. I had the chance to speak to the mother of the baby, Rachel Tarragano, about the incident.
As far as I was told, the lifeguard said that they pulled him out of the car. He was hot and red and sweaty, and that they had gotten him wet to cool him down, and had called the paramedics to come and check him out. They said he had only been in the car about 5 minutes, which still is, a lot of time for a baby. But, it wasn't 15 minutes. He would be dead if it had been. I guarantee that, because I would have too. He's okay. The woman who did leave him in the car was fired.
What is the name of the daycare that you left your son at?
Learning Depot.
Do you know the lady's name who had taken him to the pool and left him in the vehicle?
Her name is Veronica. The state is now investigating further into the daycare and going to decide further. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to decide, what's going to happen, but I was notified today that they are going to be looking into things deeper. She had just started working there probably about 3, maybe 4 months ago.
So when this happened, you were at home?
I was cleaning out my garage because we're getting ready to have a yard sale at my house. And I have not had a day off in like 3 weeks. I had been working at Area 51 Fireworks. It was only a seasonal job, and the season ended, so now I have a day off. So I was just trying to get control back over my house, and it's easier when he's in the care of somebody else, so I'm not like running him over or anything.
So the lady, obviously she's a daycare teacher. She cares for other people. Do you know around how old she was? Was she a licensed daycare teacher, any of that?
As far as I know, she is the woman that had him in the car, was licensed, and she's older than me. I'm not exactly sure how much older than me, but she is an adult.
And were you aware that they were going to the pool that day?
They go to the pool all the time usually, and usually he's with the other woman that owns the daycare. And for some reason, he just got put into the other car this time, and she forgot him in there, I guess.
So when you were called, how quick did you get to the scene?
I didn't even grab my license, my purse, or anything. I just grabbed the keys and shot out the door.
And how do you feel towards the lady now? Are you hoping that charges are pressed and that she does get prosecuted with this?
I'm hoping that things are taken care of properly and that she does have like the consequences for what she did. I know she feels terrible since I've seen her around and stuff, but I'm going to be more cautious, obviously, as to what's going on with my child.
So was she arrested and taken into custody?
No, she was not arrested that day. The police needed to dig in deeper, I guess, and make sure the stories were all lining up or something. I'm not sure. And said that they would get back to her on whether she was going to be charged with the misdemeanor of child neglect or not.
So you are going to continue sending your son to that daycare?
I will continue sending him to the daycare now that she has been fired, and I know that it is being taken care of properly because I trust the woman who owns the daycare, not necessarily the worker that had been working there, but the woman who owns it, and she is making sure that she is doing better on her workers.
Tell us a little bit about your son. How old is he?
My son is 11 months old. He will be a year next month. I'm so excited. He's super smart. He stacks things up so he can reach things, like on shelves or whatever, and so I have to be careful what I put where. But he's such a little ball of joy.
And he is your only son, right?
Yes.
And you're a single mother?
Correct.
So it was really important for you to be able to find decent daycare for him?
Correct.
Programming company Viacom is in another dispute to raise fees for television viewers.
SpongeBob, Jersey Shore, Jon Stewart, and even reruns of other favorite television shows like The Nanny or Friends are now unavailable for over 20 million DirecTV subscribers. This blackout is due to a dispute between DirecTV and Viacom Inc. Viacom is a company that owns networks such as Nickelodeon, Nick at Night, MTV, TV Land, Comedy Central, and over 20 more. Apparently, DirecTV had a 7-year agreement to purchase these channels as a package. That 7-year contract expired late Tuesday night, leaving DirecTV subscribers without any Viacom networks. According to DirecTV, Viacom has demanded a 30% increase, which is about an extra $1 billion for these shows, or, according to Viacom, a couple of pennies more per day per subscriber. A spokesperson for Viacom states that despite Viacom's best efforts, DirecTV rejected proposals to renew their contract. Viacom wants DirecTV to purchase a bundle of channels, meaning that they have to carry the low-rated networks if they want to keep the higher-rated ones like MTV or Nickelodeon. DirecTV believes that each subscriber should be able to pick and choose which channels they would like to have, as opposed to paying for many that they do not watch in order to keep the ones that they do. Viacom says that the fee DirecTV was paying under the contract signed 7 years ago is now below market price. DirecTV has said that they have offered to pay a slightly higher fee for the channels, but not as high as Viacom is asking. This is not the first time a television distributor has had a problem with Viacom. Dish Network, 8 years ago, removed some Viacom channels when they were unable to reach a new distribution agreement. That situation, however, ended with Dish caving to Viacom's demands for a higher rate. In the meantime, DirecTV is allowing 8 Encore channels, which usually come with the higher price premium subscription, to be viewed free until the 31st of this month.
And if you're tired of paying too much for satellite television, you can get up to 23 channels, including KPVM's 4 digital channels, for free. Call us here at 727-9400, extension 209, or call Rods TV to get hooked up at 727-9395. Imagine what you could do with all that extra cash.
Well, does your TV picture look a little squished? KPVM's Director of Production and Week in Review anchor Jason Koblenz explains why.
It is a possibility. If you have an older TV, it's very possible that the image might be a little squished up.
What do you consider an old TV?
What is considered an old TV? The big square ones, you know, like this one right here. Yeah, this TV right here doesn't have the ability to broadcast or display the image properly, and we are wanting to show you what the difference is. So
we have right here we have on top of the square TV, which is considered an old TV now. On top of that, we have a flat screen TV, which the flat screen TV, the picture looks a little nicer.
Yeah, the image is being displayed properly, and therefore, you know. The difference is that we're broadcasting we're broadcasting in standard def, but we're recording in high definition. And because we're now recording in high definition, the signal is a little bit different. And when we broadcast it out, if you don't have the right setting on your TV, it's going to look squished like this one here.
But can you explain to our viewers that we are broadcasting in high definition for a benefit? There's a benefit to that.
Well, yeah, everything, even when the signal is coming across in a standard definition signal, because we're recording it in high definition, we're getting more clarity, getting better color, getting better image. And therefore, even in the standard def, it looks better than what we used to have previously. But of course, this is in our digital signal.
And high definition really is essentially the future of television.
Yeah, we can't escape it.
Yeah. Exactly. So for people, some people, if they do have an older TV, there is a possible way of adjusting their settings in some of the TVs?
In some of them, you have to check your menu. There's a 4:3 or 4:3 or a 16:9 setting, and for our signal, you'd want to set it to 16:9, and it'll stretch the signal back out and make it look proper. One way you can tell for sure is by looking at the little 8 ball or the little ball, you know, or 46, and if it's oval or if it's round is a good indicator of the squished effect that we're seeing on some of the older TVs.
Town board member Dr. Tom wrote a special open letter to the citizens of the town of Pahrump.
Well, I wanted to talk about a couple things. I wanted to talk about the fact that the commissioners decided to put on the ballot about disbanding the town board or changing it to an advisory board. And the other thing was on PTO 46. A lot of people are saying that the town board exceeded our authority by doing it. And I'm trying to emphasize over and over, it had nothing to do with incorporation. It was a poorly written, poorly crafted ordinance that needed to be repealed.
In your letter, it says that this had to be repealed because it was unconstitutional, unlawful, because it actually took away the power to repeal it.
That's correct. And, well, one of the things it said in the ordinance is the fact that citizens did not have the right to have a petition to do it. And that's a constitutional right. So the town board doesn't have any authority to take away a constitutional right.
You put in place a resolution that says that they have the right to vote on this. Is it going to be in ordinance?
It won't be in an ordinance because it's unenforceable. And it's unenforceable because the state of Nevada has procedures for incorporation. Mm-hmm. So for us to put down anything that tells citizens what they can or cannot do, the state has already done that. And anything we do would be unenforceable.
The people that are so against this are, in fact, the ones that want to have a petition that for against the town board, for against town of Pahrump incorporating.
Now say that again.
You took it away, or you repealed Ordinance 46 because of the fact that one of the issues is that it says that you can't have a petition for incorporation. But it seems that the people who are so against you repealing this are the ones that are having the petition.
That's correct. Everybody feels you have a right to have a petition, and yet they're looking at an ordinance that said they can't have a petition, and it's kind of contradictory. And again, it violates constitutional rights, and it's not something the town board can do.
What's your feelings about the Board of County Commissioners putting this item on the November ballots for the dissolution of the Pahrump Town Board?
Well, first of all, I have to say I want it on the ballot. I'd like the voters to say, yes, we do want a town board, and I'd like people to know that. The fact that the commissioners put it on the ballot, that to me was the wrong way to go. Mm-hmm. What they should have done was let the petitions, the voice of the people, speak for themselves. If the signatures were there on the petitions, hey, I'm all for it. They did not need to go to the commissioners to have the commissioners do it. And the other thing about it is the law is very clear. It says the commissioners have determined that the town board form of government is not good for the town. And the commissioners have not determined that. So did they follow the law? That I'm not really sure of. Again, I want it on the ballot because I want the voice of the people heard. How they did it, I'm definitely against that.
Spending money on gas for your vehicle is one thing, but spending over $35 on fuel that can damage your engine is another. One local consumer had to have her car towed from a local gas station this morning and sent to a repair shop after mistakenly putting kerosene in her car. According to her mechanic, this is not the first time this has happened at this station. The mechanic also said that the fuel nozzle should have not fit in her car in order to prevent this from happening. We're here today with the local real estate agent, Susan Strain, who accidentally put kerosene into her car at the Rebel gas station on Highway 160 and 372. Now, this would not have happened if the pump did not fit into her car, which is a standard now for most gas stations. We're going to speak to her right now.
I stopped at the Rebel on Highway 160 and 372 and was going to put gasoline in my car. I paid for it outside, and I ended up pumping the car with $35 worth of kerosene. I was a little upset, to say the least, and I'm just thankful that the printer for my receipt wasn't working, because that's the only way I would have known that I'd done this when I went inside to get a receipt and they informed me that I had put in kerosene by mistake.
And luckily you did not start your car?
No, I didn't start it. It probably would have made a bit of a mess of it. I'm not sure what would have happened, but...
Well, you had a tow truck driver explain to you that most gas pumps do not have a pump that can fit into a car like yours if it has kerosene.
I understand from my usual auto repairman who I phoned about this that it shouldn't fit in my tank. So that would be a preventative measure for people who, you know, aren't used to going up to a gas station where they do dispense kerosene. I've never been to a gas station before, and it was just a complete surprise to me that it was there.
Did you speak to anybody at the Rebel gas station? What kind of response did they have to this?
Well, I was kind of irate, unfortunately, because they said don't drive the car, and I have a busy schedule. But they just had me fill out a form, and I asked them, can I get my $36 back? I guess I will eventually. But I had to have the car towed. I'm going to have the gasoline removed from my gas tank, and the inconvenience, of course. And I just want to let other people know maybe they should watch out for these signs that say kerosene, that it's easy to miss, in my opinion.
I would also like to add that we did contact the manager of the Rebel on Highway 160 and 372, and she said that she had no comment and hung up the phone.
And we'll be right back with more of News 46's Week in Review. Don't you turn that dial.
The Southern Nye County Detention Center is planning their official ribbon cutting for July 31st at 1 p.m. This $18 million project is receiving the finishing touches to house over 200 and possibly up to 500 inmates. Lieutenant Jack Hannigan has been named the corrections commander.
Basically, are training the employees this month. We hope to have it open for occupancy by no later than mid-August.
How many inmates does this have the capability to house?
We will be able to house 224 inmates.
With the option of expanding, right?
With the option of expanding, we will be able to expand up to 500.
We had a little tour of the facility, and let's go through some of it. The Sally Port, let's talk about that.
The Sally Port is the area where all transportation with inmates will come in or leave from. A deputy's unit will come into the Sally Port. They will take the inmate out of the Sally Port, bring them up the walkway into the booking area.
And that booking area right there has some little desks and some cells for holding. That's a temporary holding?
Yes, this is a temporary holding facility. An individual will be brought in, they will be booked in, and then put in a holding facility or a holding cell until they can be dressed down and taken to the housing area.
We also have a property area too as well that they can receive their what is it, their jail?
Yes, the individual, once they're finished booking, we'll take them from the holding cell, we'll take them into the shower and search room. This is where they will be thoroughly searched, and they will be given everything, their blanket, their pillows, their mattress cover, their clothing, and a plastic bag with a Ziploc on it. They will take off all of their clothing, put it in the plastic bag, it will be Ziplocked shut, put in the bag, and then they will be taken from the house, from that area to their housing area.
And this will also hold the inmates' property. They can stay at this facility for how long? Up to how many years?
A misdemeanor is the only thing that we can house for a long term. An individual can come in, they'll be here awaiting trial if they do not bail out, or if they are sentenced, they will stay here the amount of their sentence minus work time if they're an inmate worker, or good time if they're an ideal inmate.
We have some state-of-the-art areas here, including the design of the facility being that there is a security person in the middle called a pod, and they can see inside each cell individually, as well as monitoring with cameras all over the place.
Yes, we will have an individual working pod control and a deputy working the floor. The deputy will always be moving about through the different housing areas, watching what's going on inside, and the person in pod control can alarm them if there's any suspicious activity in any of the housing areas, things of this nature.
And that pod can also control the lockdown and opening and closing of the door areas too as well.
That pod, we have two pods. We have central pod control, and we have central control and pod control. Central control covers the full area, admin area, things of this nature during the day when the front office is open. When that is locked down, then pod control will control the complete facility to include opening and closing all the doors, monitoring all the lights, monitoring all the cameras that are throughout the facility.
And we continue with part 2 of that with Corrections Commander Jack Hannigan, who gives us a tour of the jail facility just off Basin behind the Nye County Courthouse.
We will have classification, which depends on what crime has been committed, what the individual's mental status is, if the individual needs to be on suicide watch, if the individual needs to be protected from another inmate that's in the facility, and then we will have medium custody, which is just your general population that just wants to be an ideal inmate, do their time, do whatever's necessary to waiting for court, and they are in a separate area.
Also, there is a facility for them for higher education, for church services.
Yes, we have a multi-purpose room. This is for the classes on AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, NA, Narcotics Anonymous, GED classes. We furnish all denomination of church services in the facility, and this room will be used for that.
There's also an outside area.
Yes, there is an outside recreation area where when their outside time comes to them, they can go out there and exercise.
As well as a medical facility.
Yes, we have a medical facility with a pharmacy in it, examining table, and we have 2 rooms that are air controlled for any inmate that might have a communicable disease. We can put them in that area and keep them isolated from all the other inmates.
And talk to me about the kitchen area.
The kitchen area is a culinary delight. They have put in the most modern, beautiful kitchen. It has large walk-in refrigerator, large walk-in freezer, huge storage area, which is going to allow us to buy in larger bulk than what we have before. And in buying in larger bulk, we're going to be able to hold our meal prices down considerably less than what they are now.
And also even a dishwashing area, that is amazing.
The dishwashing area, yes, has of course a state-of-the-art garbage disposal area. It has the washer, the rinser, the sanitizer, the dryer, and then the food trays are taken off of that and put onto a cart that allows air circulation to keep them dry and to keep them sanitary.
And a laundry room.
The laundry room at this point has 2 washers and 2 dryers and space for 2 more should we or when we increase in size to 500. But the ones we have in it now will take care of the 224 inmates that we will have capabilities of housing.
And more with Lieutenant Jack Hannigan. He speaks about the new Southern Nye County Detention Center in part 3 of the series on the jail.
Yes, it gives us security in that respect, as well as security face-to-face visitations, even with the screen in between talking on the telephones. That can create some issues. With the area we have now, and I know your photographer took shots, here in the general public entry area, we do have the screens and the phones to where a visitor can sit at that phone and talk to their relative, friend, whatever, that's in the housing area, and they never have to leave the housing area for visitation.
What are the visitation hours going to be, do you know?
I do not have that down yet.
Will we be hiring any other workers to work in this detention facility, or do we know at this point?
We do not know at this point. This is a matter that's going to have to be resolved by the commissioners, and I'm going to leave it at that.
The detention workers that are working over in the Nye County Detention Center right now will be moving over to this area. Do you know what will be happening with that location?
I do not know. I know it's going to be closed down as far as any inmates or jail type activity. What the county's going to do with it, I don't have a clue.
And will we be starting to have a kind of the court? I know that we transport a lot of prisoners back and forth from Tonopah. Will we be able to have where they have the court so that they can see the judge up there from this location down here in this court facility, so we won't be transporting as many prisoners? Will we be using this for the main holding area instead?
What my plan is at this point is all inmates that are going to Pahrump Court will be housed in Pahrump, and the inmates going to Tonopah Court will be housed in Tonopah. There could be situations, security situations, where we might have to take one from here and move up to Tonopah just for their safety. But under normal circumstances, what can be handled out of this facility will be maintained within this facility.
And so maybe we will be cutting down on transportation, at least there, with perhaps teleconferencing.
Oh, that's a guarantee. That's a guarantee. Transportation will be cut down drastically.
Do we have a projected date for sure of when this will be opened?
I am looking at mid-August at this point. We have to get all the workers over here, get them trained. As you have found, the amount of time that you have been lost in the tour, these deputies have to know the inside of this facility like the palm of their hand. Because if they have a situation, they have to know how to get there, when to get there, and the quickest way to get there. So we have training on that. We have training on all the new electronics in here, which is just phenomenal. So we are in the training process as we speak.
In the last and final series for the new Southern Nye County Detention Center, we catch up with Corrections Commander Lieutenant Jack Hannigan. And the center is set to open in August. This $18 million facility can house up to 500 inmates.
Yes, this will create a much safer environment, a more comfortable environment for both the inmate as well as the deputies working. And anything and everything that these inmates need, they will have access to from the day room area of their holding.
When this is all said and done, we're looking at 18 million? Is that what we're looking at for that goal?
I have heard 17.7, which included the impound yard that was built. So the jail itself, about 16.5 to 17 million.
And that impound area is going to take over for the old one that we had, and it's right on the property right here.
Yes, it is. It's just right across the way from where we're speaking now.
Thanks so much, Jack, for taking us on the tour.
Well, thank you for your interest. It was my pleasure. Very proud.
We'll be having a ribbon cutting, and the public's going to come and take a view of this, right?
I have set the ribbon cutting at this point for July 31st at 1:00 p.m.
And we do want to let everybody know that on Thursday, when we had that power outage, we had some damage to our channel 46.2, our digital channel there, and we are working diligently to get that right back on the air. Of course, you can watch us on the web on KPVM.TV and on our YouTube page as well. And if you have any questions, you can call us here at 727-9400.
And also today, Sniffany's will host a huge linen sale with free ice cream and toppings from 5 to 8 p.m. on the corner of Gamebird and Pahrump Valley Boulevard.
And the U.S. Air Force Auxiliary Civil Air Patrol will have an event at 1061 Jet Place near Highway 160 and Interceptor this Saturday, which is today, from 10 to 3 p.m. For more information, call 702-574-9448.
And a variety show will be held on Saturday at the Nye Community Coalition. Doors open at 6 p.m. Call 410-2872 for more information.
There you go. And that does it for this edition of News 46's Week in Review. You have a great week, and we'll see you here again next week. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Zach Fuentes.
Good night.